ABC News political contributor and former Trump administration official Sarah Isgur, and ABC News contributor and CEO of Democracy for America, Yvette Simpson, for more on this. Thank you both for being here. Yvette, I want to start with you. Yesterday, committee members were focused on establishing that former President Trump and his legal team knew he lost the election, but still tried to hold on to the presidency anyway. Do you think they were successful?
I think they were. I mean, there's one thing to say Donald Trump was detached from reality, but the attorney who's responsible for protecting this country knew that and did nothing about it. The people closest to him who had the power not only to convince him that this was not a right move, but to alert people in charge that he is gone, that this is not right, that we need to do something different. They didn't do anything. They were cowards in that moment. They cost people lives. And the idea that Attorney Giuliani, who has a duty to the Constitution as a legal representative. I'm a lawyer. I understand my duty to the Constitution, was intoxicated on that day, and he was fueling the flames of Donald Trump on that day. Disgraceful. Every single one of them should be held accountable for their lack of courage on that day and their lack of conviction.
Sarah, in several taped deposition clips, former Attorney General Bill Barr said, despite telling Trump there was no merit to the election fraud claims, that he believed Trump, you heard it, was detached from reality, and he said he basically couldn't be reasoned with. How significant is that coming from his own Attorney General, and how are Republican lawmakers reacting to that?
Well, obviously, there's almost no one with more credibility in terms of being in Trump's inner circle, being on Trump's team throughout the administration than Bill Barr. So for Bill Barr, when he came out publicly and said that the Department of Justice had found no evidence of fraud after the election, I thought that had an enormous amount of credibility with Republicans on the Hill. For him to come out now and said that when he privately told that to the president, that the president simply refused to acknowledge that, he said detached from reality. I think that's interesting because it does cut against the idea that Donald Trump knew that the election hadn't been stolen. You could really argue that either way at that point. But regardless, Bill Barr is saying, absolutely, the election not stolen. I told Donald Trump that, and it just didn't matter in terms of what happened next. I think for Republicans on the Hill, this is largely baked already. And you see with the American people, Axios did a social media survey that January 6th, even for those who think it was horrible and wrong, is of incredibly low interest, low engagement compared to inflation, taxes, etc. So I think there's two audiences here. One, reporters, people like us who are writing that first draft of history for posterity. And two, frankly, Axios also noted there had been 500 fundraising emails from Democratic organizations in the last month trying to raise money off January 6th to really juice their small dollar base. And so it's interesting to talk about Trump's small dollar base when there's an argument that some of that's what's going on here as well.
So, Yvette, I want to take that point to you because the November midterm elections not that far away. And polls are showing that voters' attention right now is focused on inflation, on COVID, on record gas prices. How much of an impact do you think these hearings can have on that?
I want to be clear.
I don't think it will have any impact on this fall's election.
Sorry, Sarah. I wanted to pose that to Yvette. Sorry.
I want to be clear that January 6th was an attempt to violently overthrow our government. Our Capitol was stormed. People died. And still now, the big lie is being perpetuated across our country. It led to 20-plus states passing laws that is going to make it harder for people to vote in this election. We will see this again if people don't pay attention to it. I get it. People have hearing fatigue. We did all those hearings for impeachment. Congress did nothing. Senate did nothing. But this is a moment in history like no other. And so people have to pay attention. Democrats are raising money because that's what it's going to take to deal with the voter suppression that is rampant based on a lie that was never a lie, based on fraud that never happened, based on a deceptive con man who claimed victory when it was proven that he was a loser. We are worried about the future. We need to let people know that this is not about what happened just on January 6th, but the future of our democracy. It happened once, it can happen again.
Sarah, 71% of Republicans don't believe Joe Biden was legitimately elected president. The committee is laying out all of this evidence that even Donald Trump's inner circle didn't think that that was the case, that they believed this election was legitimate, that Joe Biden was duly elected. So can this committee change minds?
I don't think the purpose of the committee is to change minds. I think the purpose of the committee is to lay out the case, show their work, if you will, to put this in some sense in the past, because I think a problem for Democrats has also been that they have put so much focus on January 6th. They need to move on to the economy and inflation, baby formula before November. And this is tying a bow on everything the committee has done to move forward from that. You know, I do want to, though, say on a poll that says that, 71% of Republicans don't think that Joe Biden was properly elected. You look after 2016 and ask the same question of Democrats about Donald Trump. You get a number just lower than that, actually, in the wake of Donald Trump's election. It doesn't actually mean that 71% of Republicans think that, the election was stolen with fraudulent ballots. Oftentimes, if you dig into those numbers, people are basically saying they just didn't want Joe Biden as president.
All right, Sarah Isgur, Yvette Simpson, thank you both.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.